You're watching Cobb County's Government Access Channel, TV 23.
Happy New Year and welcome to the Library Show. I'm Roxanne and this is Donna, and we're here to talk about books for book discussions. Our first book that we're going to talk about is The Poe Shadow by Matthew Pearl. It's an historical fiction book, and Donna, can you tell us what it's about?
Yes. First, I'd like to let you know that this was written in 1998 by Matthew Pearl, who has written other historical fictions. What he has done is taken us to Philadelphia in 1849 when Edgar Allan Poe was murdered, died. Excuse me. He was the young man believed that Poe was murdered. So what we have here is a very well researched historical mystery. What we also have is a very slow book. He writes as though it's written in the first person. So he's writing it as though he were writing in 1849, so we have to slow ourselves down, get used to the pace. Philadelphia is one of the strong characters in the book, and it's an absolutely riveting read if you don't mind slowing down.
Okay. And why did you pick it for your group to read?
My group has not yet read it. They will be. They do like historical fiction, and I expect that they will enjoy this as well.
Okay. All right, and his newest book, if you're interested, is The Technologist. It was came out in 2012. The next book is The Sandcastle Girls by Chris Bohjalian. Bohjalian. I knew I was going to mess it up. It's a historical fiction using alternative settings. It moves from present day to 1914.
Yes.
How is the setting used to tell the story?
The main character is in 2012, and she finds some information about her grandparents who came from Armenia. And the more she finds out, the more curious she is. It turns out that we learn an awful lot about the Armenian massacre of 1915-16, which most of us didn't know about. So he uses this technique to tell us about this really horrific chapter of history.
Why would you recommend it for people to read?
It was such an interesting story. The characters were very interesting, but also I learned so much Armenian history. I mean, he even discussed the food. And we learned that if a name ends in IAN, it is Armenian. But so many people in our generation know absolutely nothing about this. You know, this is the massacre that nobody ever knew about. Mm-hmm. And he and some other people are just trying to bring this information forward.
Did your book club members like it?
They loved it. They even, though there were some descriptions of atrocities, they were not too squeamish to go on because the story was very compelling. You could not wait to find out what was going to happen next to the characters. And we get to know quite a few characters.
I just finished reading his newest one. It's Light in the Ruins. It's also an alternative setting book that takes place between 1955 and 1943 in Italy. I highly recommend it. If you'd like other historical fiction books using alternative settings, you might want to try The Obituary Writer by Anne Hood and the Guernsey Literary Society,
Yes,
Potato
absolutely.
Peel Society.
Yes. One thing I might mention about this book is that after reading it, our group decided we would read more Bohjalian books.
Our next book is a nonfiction book. It's Midnight Rising, John Brown and the Raid That Sparked the Civil War by Tony Horwitz. It was published in 2012. Can you describe the book?
The book tells two stories. First, it tells the story of John Brown's life, his early youth, how he became the person that he became. And it also tells the story of the events that led inevitably to the Civil War, beginning with some of the abolitionists, the Nat Turner's raid, of course. Nat Turner's raid caused a lot of fear among white Southerners, so they created a lot of repressive laws. Brown was a very strong Calvinist. He believed in the religious right of what he was doing. Not only did he believe in abolition, he was also one of the few abolitionists who believed in true equality of human beings. This was an idea that was slow to catch on, but he started it, and the way he treated people.
What other political ramifications did John Brown's raid cause?
Well, it actually directly led to the Civil War. At the time, it was seen a failure. Then it mobilized both North and South, and then we just kind of forgot about how important it was. But what it showed white Southerners was that the North would resort to violence to get their end. And what it showed the white Northerners was that there was a real need to intervene.
Well, why should you read this book now?
Well, a couple of really interesting things came up in reading this book. John Brown was a very strange, he was a charismatic person, but he believed he was ordained by God to fight on behalf of human equality. And he felt that any means necessary, to quote someone else, Malcolm X, were going to be used to get this in. Some people have read his story and compared him to the religious zealots that we see now committing terrorist acts. So we get to ask ourselves, and we really get to talk about, did his end justify the means? Because, in fact, as a direct result of what they did, and those few people who died, the war was started, slavery was abolished, and the country started moving towards equality of people.
Now, your book group just read this, correct?
Yes.
Did they enjoy it?
They did. Many of them found the story of the raid itself really compelling. Others were really saddened by the fact that he was so willing to use anyone to get his ends. So that, he was really totally ruthless. You could not argue with him. And that was also a new aspect. He reminded me of actually some of the missionaries who sacrificed their families in order to preach.
Another famous book by Tony Horwitz is The Confederates in the Attic.
Yes, I have not read that, but look forward to it.
Our next book is Doc by Mary Dora Russell. It's another historical fiction, and it's the fictional account of the life of Doc Holliday. Could you describe the book?
Yes, it is a fictionalized account, but it was very well researched. So a lot of what is in here is fact. As a matter of fact, in the beginning of this book, Ms. Russell lists the characters that were real people and the characters that she invented so that we would have an idea of who was the real person. It talks about Doc's life up until the OK Corral. His early life in Georgia, he was a very sickly young man. The way he developed as a musician, and he had quite an artistic education because he had always been sick.
Okay, very quickly, why did your book group enjoy reading this?
Yes, they liked reading it. Most of the book group members had seen the movie Tombstone. And this reminded them of Tombstone, only it was so much better because you got to see more about Doc Holliday's life and the character himself, but also how the West was settled, what it was like at that time.
And he was from Georgia.
He was from Georgia. He was born in Griffin. He spent some time in Valdosta. The love of his life continued to live in Griffin even when he went out west.
Okay, stay tuned. We'll be right back from the library show.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're 25.
What did that just do?
Select the drop-down menu again.
Wait.
So you're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payments. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it. That's awesome.
Good for you.
Happy New Year and welcome back to the Library Show. I'm Beth. Are you still looking for a New Year's resolution, or at least one you might actually keep? Why not resolve to read more? On February 1st, the Schweitzer Library will be kicking off a month-long Family Winter Reading Club. Join us at 3 p.m. in the Hattie Gaines Wilson Youth Services Department, where we'll share great ideas for family reading for all ages. Whether you have babies, toddlers, or independent readers in your family, we'll share tips on how to get started and how to keep the fun going. The warm feeling of reading together never gets old. Then, on March 1st, we'll celebrate at our awards ceremony. What's the best book to read? One that you're excited about. Personally, I'm a big fan of dogs, so here are some of my favorites. No matter what you or your family are interested in, we probably have a book for you. For the youngest children, these are some of my favorites. This one is called I Love Dogs, and it's by Barney Salzberg. Simple rhymes and sturdy pages demonstrate the many qualities that make dogs so lovable. The other one is called Peek-a-Pet by Marie Torres-Simirusti. It's a lift the flap book with big pictures, bright colors, and lots of opportunities to practice your fun animal sounds. What pets might be hiding behind the flaps? It's not just dogs, so check it out and see. Don't forget about board books. The library has lots of board books available for checkout, like Doggies by Sandra Boynton or Spot Love Sports by Eric Hill. I brought some other dog-tastic picture books too. In Always by Allison McGee, a little dog promises to do everything imaginable to protect the house and its inhabitants from danger, including defending them against squirrels. This is an adorable love story between dog and human, and don't worry, it's not sad. You should probably know that I will not read sad dog books. Here's a super silly one, The Pigeon Wants a Puppy by Mo Willems. You might remember the pigeon pleading to please drive the bus, but this time he's determined that he wants a puppy. This pigeon makes a pretty solid argument, but will you be persuaded? This next one is called Fancy Nancy and the Posh Puppy by Jane O'Connor. Fancy Nancy likes everything to be fancy, so when her family decides to get a dog, she hopes it'll be a fancy dog, like her neighbor's Papillon. But what if a tiny Papillon isn't the right breed for the Clancy family? Maybe their perfect dog is waiting to be adopted from a shelter. Both of my dogs are rescues, so I think this is an excellent idea. This last picture book is called Dear Mrs. LaRue, Letters from Obedience School, and it was written by Mark Teague. Ike LaRue is a dog who has been sent to obedience school for crimes he probably committed, like eating an entire chicken pie. While there, he sends a series of melodramatic letters to his owner describing the horrors of obedience school, as illustrated in black and white pictures that are juxtaposed with illustrations of the bright, happy reality of his luxurious residence. It's kind of funny. The library even has poetry books about all sorts of things. I had a whole stack of dog poetry books, but I managed to narrow down to just one. This one is called Little Dog Poems, and it's by Christine O'Connell George. These are short, funny poems about incidents in the day of a funny little dog. Finally, I brought two chapter books. This first one is called Down Girl and Sit, Smarter Than Squirrels, and it's by Lucy Nolan. This is the story of two dogs who think their names are Down Girl and Sit, and who do really nice things for their owners, like wake them up early so they won't be scared by the alarm clock. The secret to their success? They're smarter than squirrels. Finally, I recently reread the Bunnicula series by James Howe. I actually downloaded the audiobook to my phone from the library's digital download collection using Overdrive, but I brought the book on CD so I could have something to show you. Bunnicula is the story of a dog named Harold, a cat named Chester, and the newest member of their family, a rabbit named Bunnicula, who Chester is sure is a vampire rabbit. The other books in the audio collection are Howliday Inn and The Celery Stalks at Midnight. They're all a little bit scary and very funny. I hope I've given you lots of ideas about fun books to read with your family, and I hope you'll join us for our Family Reading Club kicking off February 1st at the Schweitzer Library. For more information, give us a call at 770-528-2331 or visit us on our website at www.cobcat.org. Stay tuned for more of The Library Show.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing you. Believe me, I'm good at it. But at some point, you're gonna need to start pushing yourself.
See, once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell them. You can't change your past, but you can definitely change your future.
That makes me so happy, I'm ready to bust out a dance.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? My gentle technique isn't really working. You need something a little more
persuasive.
Yes.
You listen, and you listen good.
Hey, where's my sandwich? Terry? Terry!
Take it from me, the King DMC. It's a real cool thing to get your GED.
Get that diploma!
Now hold on and we'll find you free GED classes. Capiche?
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Welcome back to the Library Show. The Cobb County Public Library System is expanding and adjusting the hours of operation of all its branches to meet citizens' needs for access to libraries and library services. The change of hours is effective Monday, January 6, 2014. Larger libraries, including the Schweitzer Library, Mountain View Regional Library, South Cobb Regional Library, East Cobb Library, and the West Cobb Regional Library will now be open Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Medium-sized libraries, including East Marietta, Gritters, Kent Memorial, Kennesaw, Powder Springs, Stratton, and Vinings, will be open Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Thursday and Friday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 1 to 6 p.m. Smaller libraries, Ackworth, Lewis A. Ray, and Sibley, will be open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, closed Thursday and Friday, and open Saturday from 1 to 6 p.m. The Sweetwater Valley Library's hours will also change. Sweetwater will now be open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, and on Thursday 1 to 6 p.m. A summary of all hours for all the branches can be found on the library's website at www.cobcat.org.
Child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book can be the first thing helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Hello, and welcome back to the Library Show. I'm Nicole, and today I'm joined by my colleague, Rebecca Mendelson, who is the children's librarian at Gritters Library. Thank you for joining us, Becca.
Thanks, Nicole. It's great to be here, and I'm here with my son, Victor. He's 8 months old.
Hi, Victor. Thank you for joining us. Today we wanted to talk about the children's storytime blog series that you're writing for the Cobb County Library website. And we just wanted to ask you, what was that about?
Yes, well, I was inspired by Julia Hooprick's blog series she did that highlighted all the different branches of the library. So I thought it would be a fun idea if we shine a spotlight on the children's librarians of our county, because we have so many talented, creative, innovative librarians, and they present wonderful programs. They're so talented, and it's just great to showcase them on our blog.
So basically your series just profiles the different story times that librarians are conducting at different libraries.
Yeah, we just try to highlight each branch. We've done several so far.
Oh, great.
You can look at our blog and see them. Yeah.
So when a parent takes their child to a children's story time, what can they expect?
Oh, you can expect to have a lot of fun and to learn. We sing, we dance, we read books, and we might play with a parachute or bubbles, or shakers or bean bags. and interactive literacy activities. And you can meet other parents and other babies and other children. So
that's a great part about story time, is meeting other parents and talking about your children and allowing the children to interact with one another as well.
Oh,
so, yeah, that's great.
And also in baby story time we do nursery rhymes and finger plays.
Yeah.
Let me show you one that we do.
Okay.
This one's called Crisscross Applesauce.
Okay.
Ready, Victor? I think he wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. Crisscross.
Let me help you out.
Applesauce.
Let me help you out. There you go.
Spiders crawling up your back. Tight squeeze, cool breeze. Now you've got the shivers.
Yay, Victor. That was a lot of fun. That's an example of the type of things you would be doing in the story time.
Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Of course, every branch has their own mix.
Yeah. So what are the benefits of a children's story time?
The benefits are really just innumerable. They develop language skills, they develop social skills. It really strengthens the bond between parent and child. And when they observe parents, how much parents love reading and how much the teacher loves reading, then they absorb that love of reading. And that'll last their whole life. So it's very important to start when they're a baby. With story time. Yeah.
Well, libraries benefit from children's story time too, because children like Victor are our next generation of patrons. So they come to story time and they learn to love to read, and we can expect them to be our new customers when they get older.
Definitely.
So tell me what you get out of conducting story time, children's story time.
Oh, well, story time is the favorite part of my job. It's why I became a children's librarian. It's just so much fun to see all of the children and the babies and sing together and read together. And it's so exciting to be able to foster this lifelong love of learning in our patrons.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how would a parent or caregiver find out about the children's programs at Cobb County Libraries?
You can look on our website at cobbcat.org and look at our programs page to find out about our different programs.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for joining us. To find out more about the children's story time hours, you can look at the Cobb County Library calendar that's found at www.cobbcat.org. Thank you for joining us today, Becca and Victor. He was very good. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Nicole. Thank you for having us.
All right. And thank you for joining us for the library show. Please join us again next month.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities, to ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give. Advocate.
Volunteer. Live United. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah. That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
The Cobb County Safety Village is the most comprehensive safety training environment in the region. Located in central Cobb County, the Safety Village aims to provide the highest quality of safety education available. Primarily designed for elementary-age school children, the Safety Village provides hands-on life safety training. Education is the key to reducing risk and protecting our community and its residents, and the Cobb County Safety Village is the first in Georgia to offer this kind of learning experience. On the 8-acre site is a large multi-use education building which includes classrooms, a cafeteria, offices for employees, and an auditorium made to look like the historic Strand Theater in Marietta. There is also a station for inspecting car seat installation, a free service provided to the residents of the county by Safe Kids of Cobb County, which includes 3 mechanics bays that provide shelter from the elements as well as heat during the winter months, as opposed to before when seat checks were done outside. After walking through the reception area, visitors are greeted with what looks like a small house. This is known as Sparky's house. In the hallway, which is made to look like a street, there is a replica of a telephone booth and a small tree. Sparky's house actually consists of a living room, bedroom, and kitchen, creating an incredibly memorable learning experience that mimics some life-threatening situations that children may face in their own homes. The front door of the house opens to what looks like a regular home on the inside. In Sparky's living room, children are taught about the 3 elements of fire, shown what objects around the house are more subject to catching on fire, and then the home fills with smoke from machines and steam heats the doorknob at the exit. Children must then maneuver, crawling across the floor to keep away from the smoke, and feel the door with the back of their hands to see if there is fire on the other side. The children then open the door and crawl outside to safety. When they are in Sparky's bedroom and the room fills with smoke, the children must then climb out the window with a safety ladder and meet up at the family's arranged meeting spot, the tree outside of the house. After these lessons, children participate in a simulated 911 call, complete with a live operator answering at the other end. Children are also given classes from police officers regarding topics ranging from what to do if approached by a stranger, what to do when you're home alone and hear a knock at the door, and what to do if they find a gun in the house. Interaction and participation by the children is highly encouraged and also provides for a better learning experience. The Safety Village's goal is exactly this: teach children in a unique and unforgettable way and make it as interactive as possible, but do so in a manner that is controlled, supervised, and above all, safe for the students. The David Hankerson Education Building is only the first part of the children's experience. The Safety Village itself is a working village. The land has been paved like a small neighborhood and designed to look just like that, only on a reduced scale. The Safety Village is a child-sized representation of our county, complete with real trees, scaled-down operative buildings with signage, small street signs and traffic lights, and even model homes. Site elements used throughout the village reference those found around the Marietta Square to help give the scene a recognizable and authentic look. The site features 4 distinct areas, which are the Marietta Square, a commercial district, a residential district, and an industrial district. Since it has opened, the Cobb County Safety Village has improved the fire department's efficiency in training students by 200%. Twice as many students have been able to take part in this safety training than last year before the Safety Village opened. It is easier and requires less manpower to have a centralized location, which helps to reduce scheduling conflicts. Before, when 2nd and 4th graders participated in their state-mandated fire safety program, a fire truck with a trailer housing a far less advanced scenario similar to Sparky's house would have to travel out to each school individually and could only handle one small group of students at a time. The Cobb County Safety Village allowed them to build a more complex scenario, which teaches the children more effectively, and they have room for multiple classes at one time. Children will benefit greatly from the knowledge that they will encounter through observation and participation. Learning is essential to a child's mind, and taking part in the process is crucial. The philosophy is simple: tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, Involve me, and I will understand.